Hello, mortals! I am the BookTube Goddess, the #1 drag queen booktuber on YouTube. The time has come. The first 3 episodes of the Amazon Prime series of The Wheel of Time is now out. And yes, of course, I watched. I've been hyping the series since I first heard it was in production, and now that I've seen it, I have some thoughts. And this will include some spoilers. If you haven't seen the series yet, you may want to skip this video until you see it. But if you have seen the series, let me know what you think in the comments. And while you're there, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you do share your thoughts, let me know if you've read the books or not, because I'm curious what the difference of opinions are between people who have read the series and those who have not. So what did I think? I think it was a little disappointing, and I don't think it was terrible, but I had some issues. And it's not because they changed the story. That's something I expected, especially since in book form, this is a long series. We are talking 14 novels that add up to over 10,000 pages. Yes, you heard me right. The entire series is over 4 million words long. And by the way, I have some issues with the books. I was disappointed in the ending and think many of the middle books were bloated and or unnecessary. Since this is such an enormous story, of course, they're going to have to take shortcuts, including combining characters, truncating events, and losing subplots. Even though I question some of the choices the writers and director made in that regard, that's not why I was disappointed. For the first 3 episodes, they had one job to do. Just one job.
Look, I have one job on this lousy ship. It's stupid, but I'm gonna do it, okay?
And that was to make us fall in love with the Two River characters and make us believe they are inseparable friends with bonds that run deeper than family. So, if you've seen the series, honestly, did you fall in love with Rand, Matt, Perrin, Nynaeve, and Egwene? Did you? And did you believe that they shared an intense friendship that would bind them together for the rest of their lives? Did you? Really? Now, I don't blame the actors. I blame the writers and directors. They are the ones responsible for how the story is told. And I have to question whether they were true fans of the series or if this was just another job for them, because I don't think they understood the essence of the story. Everything that happens is drawn back to the friendships, those bonds of friendships between the Two Rivers characters. And it is imperative, in my opinion, to establish those strong friendships early. What was I expecting? I was expecting Matt to be funny and charming. He's like Han Solo. And I was expecting Nynaeve to be bossy and ridiculous. I wanted Matt to tease her, and I wanted to see her exasperated, but, with a little twinkle in her eye. Instead, I saw a Matt who was moody and unpleasant. I saw Nynaeve, who was just a ball of anger the entire time. Did Nynaeve even smile once? I wanted to see all 5 of them bond together. I wanted to see their friendship. I wanted to believe that they would die for each other. And damn it, I wanted to laugh with them and feel a part of their friend group. Instead, the writers decided, for some bizarre reason, that they needed to create backstories to make us sympathetic to these characters. So now Perrin is married and kills his wife, and Matt has this weird abusive, I guess, relationship with his stepfather/father. I don't know what's even going on with that. I don't know why it was needed. I don't think it was needed. Just show the 5 of them together. But here's the thing. 5 characters is a lot of characters. Throw in Moraine, who is the Gandalf of the group, and Lan, who is the Strider of the group, and that's 7 characters in one screen. And it takes a talented writer and director to work scenes with 5 or 7 characters, but it can be done. All of us saw Lord of the Rings, right? It was like there was no confidence to create scenes with more than 2 or 3 of the characters together, so they were constantly being separated and shooting scenes with just 2, sometimes 3 people. But it was frustrating. I wanted to see them all together. That was the whole point of the Two Rivers characters. They were bonded by friendship, they came together, they were inseparable, but yet they had to be separated. And if you've read the series later on, you know why events happen that pull them, or events together. That makes sense only if we understand their core friendship, in my opinion. So let's talk about the tone of the Amazon Prime series. In my review of Dune, I mentioned that I wasn't a fan of the tone of the movie. It was relentlessly serious and dramatic. I thought it needed comedy relief, and I think that's true here too. In Lord of the Rings, we got the hobbits that lightened the mood. In Star Wars, we had C-3PO and R2-D2. In Game of Thrones, we had Tyrion Lannister and other comic relief. Here, we get nothing. It was as if the series is afraid to have any levity or lightness. It has to be relentlessly serious. Now, Matt and Nanaeve should, in my opinion, have provided some comedy relief in their interactions. Matt is basically a walking stand-up comic. Nanaeve is like Lucy from the Peanuts, bossy, opinionated, wants everyone to follow her. And a little lightness could have been provided also by Tom Maryland, the bard or gleeman. And Loial the giant could also provide some levity, but I don't know how they're going to treat Loial based on how they've treated the other characters. Now, speaking of Game of Thrones, I think that series, barring the last season, really set the bar high for fantasy series, especially when comparing the first 3 episodes of Game of Thrones with the first 3 of Wheel of Time. You could tell the creators of Game of Thrones really loved the series, and more importantly, got the essence of the characters and story. They also knew how to pace the stories and bounce our emotions from laughter to horror. But there was no bouncing of emotions in Wheel of Time. It was just one long, serious note. Hell, my husband fell asleep watching the first episode. Now, of course, there were choices made that I didn't like from a storytelling perspective. When episode 1 opened with a, prologue of the Red Aes Sedai capturing Logain, the false dragon, I wanted there to be a good cop, bad cop situation to let us know there are divisions in the White Tower. We get the bad cop, Liandrin Sedai, who snarls about the power being only for women.
This power, it's meant for women. And women alone. And when you touch it, you make it filthy.
But it would have been nice if there was another Aes Sedai to bounce off of to let us know that the male half of the power is corrupted. Now, it felt as though they were uncomfortable with the yin-yang themes, or male and female themes, that are actually quite a huge part of the Wheel of Time books. And I get it, it feels outdated to some people, but maybe they could have been bold and talked about a magnetic soul and a dynamic soul. So rather than male and female, magnetic female, dynamic male, and explored what that may mean by throwing in some trans Aes Sedai. In other words, the power is what type of soul you have rather than your physical attributes. That would have been daring and revolutionized the story. And they already changed the lore by inferring that the dragon reborn could have been born female. So why not? I would have liked to have seen Rand's father training him with a sword. Let us know why Rand is a skilled fighter. And I would have loved to have seen both Rand and his father, Tam, be a lot more kick-ass and proactive in that Trolloc fight, which could have given us a little bit more backstory on Rand's father and maybe a foreshadow on who his mother was. Now, I'm not going to go scene by scene what could be changed. I'm sure other booktubers are already doing that. I'm looking at you, Dan Green. Also, it's been some time since I've read the books, and I don't trust my memory. I already feel a little bit gaslit watching the series and questioning some of the events. Were the White Cloaks so over the top and open and killing Aes Sedai? Honestly, I just don't recall. Also, why the heck did they make the Wisdoms the female healers and leaders? That's what the Knave was, or training to be. Why were they nuns, making it sound like they couldn't get married or have children? I don't understand the point of that. And it goes against the lore that Moiraine was shocked when she found so many potential channelers in the countryside, which reinforced the premise that the reason why Aes Sedai weren't recruiting as many women in the more populated areas was because they were culling out potential male channelers, but in the country way out in Two Rivers, there was no genetic culling, and that's why there were a lot more potential channelers as wildlings, women who could channel but haven't been trained in the White Tower. Okay, that's really getting out in the weeds, but for whatever faults I may have seen, I would have forgiven everything if only they would have made me fall in love with the Two Rivers characters and made me believe in their friendship. So yes, I am going to continue watching the series. I do feel invested in it for whatever reason. I don't know if I'll do more videos on the series. If you want me to do more videos, let me know in the comments. Anyway, I do hope it improves a little bit more for me in terms of storytelling and especially character development. I know a lot of people have been enjoying it. There are things I enjoy. I did like the battle scenes and the scenery, and the cinematography are absolutely gorgeous. They also did a decent job on special effects, which I appreciate. I mean, my jaw didn't drop, but what we saw of channeling, at least in the first 3 episodes, looked pretty cool to me. And I really did like the makeup effects for the Trollocs and the Myrddraal. That's the eyeless creature. But all of that means nothing if they don't deliver on the story. As far as I'm concerned, they can change the story all they want to fit into a series format, so long as the story captures the essence of the novels and, most importantly, entertains me. Is that asking too much? Until we meet again, may all the books you read and their film adaptations be blessed.